The Pittsburgh Steelers have a major problem on offense, and it starts with the players and needs to be fixed immediately. So, the Steelers. When we look at their struggles the last couple of seasons, we always mention the OC, Matt Canada, and how he has struggled calling plays. And we also mention the offensive line, how they've been terrible at run blocking and pass blocking, and even the quarterback for throwing the ball short of the sticks a lot. But the one thing we fail to mention a lot is the actual wide receivers, tight ends, and running backs, and how they have struggled on yards after catch for the Steelers. That's their identity, throwing the ball short and running long, especially the last couple seasons. That has been their identity, but they have struggled doing so. Even 2 years ago, Diontae Johnson was the guy who would take the ball long after a short yard pass, and that's what he has been known for in the league, for running after catch and making plays out of nothing. But this past season, even though he ranked top 20 in the previous 3 years in his career, he ranked 80th among active players in the league in yards after catch who have qualified. That means a tight end, wide receiver, running back, people who could run after catch. So, out of all those guys, he ranked 80th in the league in yards after catch. That is not great. And even Najee Harris, who was a little bit better in his first year when Ben Roethlisberger was throwing to him short and he had to make plays and run long, this past season, he was not good on yards after catch. He ranked 91st overall among running backs, wide receivers, and tight ends for yards after catch. So, that was not great as well. And George Pickens did not even crack the top 200 in yards after catch. And Allen Robinson, who the Steelers have brought in from the Rams and traded for, even though he suffered an injury, he averaged less than 1 yard yards after catch per target, meaning that he basically got tackled as soon as he caught the ball, almost every single time. So, the only person who ranked even above everyone else, but it was still not even in the top 50, he ranked number 53, was Pat Freiermuth. And having your tight end lead your whole team in yards after catch is not a great sign for the offense, especially an offense that depends on yards after catch. So, like I said, the Steelers' offense, it depends on that because they're a team with a quarterback like Ben Roethlisberger in his final year and even a rookie quarterback in Kenny Pickett, who were making quick decisions, getting the ball out of their hand quickly and throwing it short, and having the wide receivers run after catch. And Matt Canada's scheme is not have big plays down the field, not having guys go over the middle of the field. His game plan was screens and throwing it short. And not having the guys to do yards after catch is actually worrying. It's not that they really don't have the guys to do so, it's that it just wasn't happening. Because the Steelers do have Diontae Johnson. They do have Kelvin Austin coming back. They do have Anthony Miller, who's a good guy at yards after catch too. I don't know if he's going to make the team. But they also have Pat Freiermuth, a guy who's a good tight end and a really good top 5 tight end in this league who could make yards after catch. So they have the guys to do so. It's just that they're not really doing it. They're not really putting the mindset. For example, let's start off with Diontae Johnson. Like I said, Diontae Johnson in the previous 3 years ranked in the top 20. But he was a guy who was really indecisive this season with the ball in his hands. He didn't know what to do. He didn't know if he should run backwards, and then him running backwards created less opportunities and a 5 yard loss. So him running backwards trying to get the angle to run upfield wasn't great. He wasn't a guy who just put his foot in the dirt and turned upfield like the previous years in his career. He was a guy who was really indecisive this year on the catch and didn't know what to do with the ball in his hands. But all that could all change. As long as he watched the film and seen what he could do differently, that mindset for him could change easily. So that's the thing that could change for him. But George Pickens, for example, I don't believe he's ever really going to be a huge YAC guy until he defines his route running. Because right now, I know it's still early in his career and he could easily change it, become a great route runner. But he's a guy who gets open, but it doesn't create too much separation for that yards after catch. Whenever he catches the ball, there's a defender within 3 yards of him. So it makes it easier for them to tackle him. So his yards after catch has been great. That's why he ranked outside the top 200. He doesn't create much separation on his routes to be able to run after catch. And even Allen Robinson, he's not a guy who creates too much separation on his routes either. When he catches the ball, he's usually a defender right near him. Like I said, he averaged less than 1 yard after catch. So Obviously, he's a guy who creates no separation on his routes either. So those guys really, I don't expect much from yards after catch, but like I said, Diontae Johnson I do, Najee Harris I do, Pat Freiermuth I do, and Kelvin Austin I do. Because Kelvin Austin's a guy who's a screen guy, a really fast guy, so him coming back this year can help that yards after catch, but it all depends on if he's healthy and is actually getting time on the field. Because the Steelers have brought in more wide receivers, especially Allen Robinson now, they really now have two top three guys, so Kelvin Austin might not see as much time, but when he does see time, hopefully he could be a guy who helps fix that YAC problem for the Steelers. And even Darnell Washington, Pat Freiermuth, they're a guy in college. Darnell Washington led all tight ends in yards after catch, so hopefully he could help the Steelers. And Pat Freiermuth. Pat Freiermuth is a guy who could break tackles a lot, so he helps with yards after catch. And obviously, like I said, he led the Steelers in yards after catch this past season. And the one guy who is a surprise for me that I've seen in yards after catch who is really great, it seemed like Jaylen Warren. Every single time he caught the ball, he would take it for 10 plus yards. Meaning, I don't have his rank here. Maybe he didn't qualify because he really didn't have too much targets or too much playing time, so maybe he didn't qualify. But Jaylen Warren, it seemed like whenever he had the ball in his hands, he would make something happen out of nothing. And Najee Harris. Najee Harris was a guy, even though he didn't rank high, it seemed like towards the end of the season, the Steelers really started getting him going in yards after catch and him making stuff happen. Like I said, the Steelers depend on this. The Steelers depend on short yards throws to take it long. So if they can't get this down and get this cracked to where they're successful in yards after catch, then they might have to think about switching their identity. Because if that's their identity and it's not working out, then there's a problem there. So hopefully it's just a mindset and the coaches could have watched film with them and switch that mindset to differently. So hopefully yards after catch is not a problem again like it was the past 3 seasons for the Steelers, and they're able to be successful in the passing game and help Kenny Pickett. Because if Kenny Pickett's throwing it short, he expects you to run it long. So hopefully now, obviously, this switches for the Steelers. When we look across the NFL and the top teams in the league in yards after catch, they're the teams that are most successful. For example, the Chiefs, YAC rankings in 2022, Travis Kelce was 3rd among everyone, and Jerick McKinnon was 7th, and even Juju Smith-Schuster was 18th. So offensive scheme matters and yards after catch matters because yards after catch is what defines the offense. Many teams in the NFL nowadays, they don't really see the big plays as like the deep down the field. You see a lot of screens, you see a lot of blocking things to get guys open, and then the Chiefs offense is explosive because they have these track stars, they have these guys who are really good at route running, and guys who get open a lot 4 yards after catch. And the best teams in NFL, for example, even though you guys don't want to hear it, the Bengals, just say for example, T. Higgins, Jamar Chase, even Joe Mixon, they're guys who can make plays happen after the catch and are really good at it. So the top teams in NFL who go far in the playoffs are teams that are explosive and make plays happen with short yardage. They make stuff happen out of nothing. If Patrick Mahomes dumps it off, Jerick McKinnon could take it to the house. If Patrick Mahomes does a screen to Travis Kelce, even though he's a big tight end, the blocking is so good, the scheme is so good, where he could take it to the house on any given play. And even Juju, like I said, he was a Pittsburgh Steeler not too long ago, and he wasn't really a good YAC guy with the Steelers when he was here, especially the last couple seasons of his career. The first couple, he was really good at YAC, but his last 2, he wasn't really a high YAC guy for the Steelers, and him going to the Chiefs, like I said, what did he rank? He ranked 18th in the league. So scheme matters too when we talk about YAC. It's not just all about the players, but it's about the scheme of the offense. So hopefully the Steelers can switch it around this season and be better so they could be one of the top teams in the NFL when it comes to that. So with that being said, let me know down in the comments below. How do you feel about this problem for the Steelers? Do you believe it is a problem, yards after catch, them being ranked one of the lowest in the league in yards after catch? Let me know down in the comments below. And also, don't forget to subscribe to the channel as well if you like Steelers content, analysis, and reports. Like the video, turn on post notifications down below for this channel as well so you get notified whenever I post next Steelers video. I covered all of free agency. I covered all the draft. If you want to see all the draft profiles and the introductions to them join the Steelers, watch it on the channel below. Don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, and subscribe. I'll see you guys all later. Till next time, I'm out. Peace.